Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm King Sway, and welcome to King Sway Entertainment. Today we have one thing the Goku versus Superman debate always forgets. Sorry, from Noble Comics. I'm not going to speak too much on this because I'll be speaking through this. Just understand that his video pissed me off because it shows he doesn't know anything about comics or combat or real life for that matter.
Hello, everyone. Noble Comics here. I want to talk about today something that I have been thinking about for a while, and something that is almost always ignored or never brought up in the Goku v Superman debate. Especially, it irks me whenever people like Death Battle don't bring this up, but I see it everywhere. And that is the fact that Superman's stats do not scale the way that people think they do against Goku. And let me explain what I'm talking about here. So, and I'll start out by saying I'm a comic fan before I'm an anime fan. So, don't think that I'm like swinging towards
No, he's
Goku just because
not.
I'm some like DBZ fan or something. Because it's not like that. But they too often they get into the weeds of like, well, one time Superman lifted up the entire universe.
It seems impossible, but it isn't. You're lifting 200 quintillion tons.
Oh, but one time Goku lifted up this thing, and Superman's da 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 da. So Superman is this much stronger than Goku because he lifted up a heavier thing. Like, as if lifting something has to do with combat strength.
That's point number one of what the fuck I'm talking about. Lifting things does have to do with combat strength because the stronger you are, the harder you hit. That is common sense and reality. It is a well known thing, but apparently not too well known because this guy is going, just because you can lift a lot doesn't mean you can hit hard. Okay,
But you see that all the time. They conflate the two. One time in this one comic, Superman lifted up this really heavy thing, therefore he must be stronger than Goku when it comes to fighting. And like, you may listen to that and think, oh, well, that makes sense to me. But that's like saying that the world's strongest man, like the biggest, lifter, would be the UFC champion, which is obviously not the case.
I love the fact that he uses, lifting, like, again, strength equals punching power. And I love the fact that he's using Francis Ngannou and Alistair Overeem and that hell of a left uppercut that Ngannou hit Overeem with to knock him out. Because they're two of the biggest dudes in the UFC. Not just name wise, but strength and stat wise. They're they're strong as fuck. And they hit hard as hell. They hit hard as hell because they're strong. Now, strength does directly correlate with punching power, but there are different muscle groups. You can't just keep bench pressing and expect to always have everything. I myself know this because I used to be a fighter. I've done a couple videos on this. Even then, check my subscribe button. My subscribe button, the image is literally me punching someone in the face in the cage. So, with that being said, you train different muscles for different things. You train for flexibility. You also train for speed because different muscles, there's different muscle groups. But that's with the human body. It's different with, I want to say with Superman is different because the dude has super strength and super speed. And he's going to say it doesn't translate to combat speed, but it does. A 5 second Google search destroys his little argument. But, oh yeah, the strongest dude wouldn't be the UFC champion. You got to train, those dudes are trained fighters, and people don't understand the hours in a day, the hours it just takes in that one day to train your body to do what these guys do. I do. So yeah, they're not just strong. They're strong. They're trained for tactics, and they're making their body strong in certain ways, as opposed to somebody that's just because bodybuilders and and strongman competitions, those are two different things. They both lift heavy, but the dudes on strongman competitions, those dudes are like bears. They'll fuck you up, as opposed to a bodybuilder is strong, but the strongman competition people, that's different altogether. I know because I go to weightlifting gyms and I go to weightlifting competitions, and I also go to combat gyms. If you don't go, I don't. I'm trying to figure out a way to better explain it to you. But yeah, lifting does translate to hitting harder. It's just that lifting people don't do what going to combat sports, because not everybody wants to get punched in the face. I tell everybody, I used to teach mixed martial arts. You're going to figure it out after the first time you get punched in the face. And a lot of guys, they quit.
Because strength, when it comes to lifting, is different than when it comes to fighting. These are the stats that are usually brought up. Strength stat. He pulled an entire solar system on a chain one time. Whatever. And Goku doesn't.
There's an exercise called the cable pull. You know, axe strapper. You take the cord and it's strung to weights, and you go like this. That's called a cable pull, or the lumberjack. That helps with punching power. Or what you can do is strap it here and punch and pull, and it still develops your upper arm. It still develops your bicep. Again, I know because it's what I do. No, I'm not showing off. I'm making a point. This kid doesn't know what he's talking about, which is why I get so frustrated with this.
Have the same feats when it comes to like lifting stuff. Um, I get that, but they try and like scale it. Like, well, base Goku can lift this much, so if you scale that, and Super Saiyan is like 100 times more powerful. But then you scale that.
I thought that
it's
was
actually
my mouse. It's
exponential
his.
growth when he goes to Super Saiyan God, so he can lift this much. Like, it doesn't even matter how much they can lift. It has nothing to do with them fighting.
Yes, it does.
That's the minor complaint, with all this stuff. The major one that's never brought up is speed, because they do the same thing with speed. One time Superman flew to the sun and back in 0.10 seconds, and he flew across the galaxy this fast, and so he could travel 10,255 times faster than the speed of light. And Goku one time had to fly this fast. It's like, as if that matters. What does that matter? You think Usain Bolt could throw hands with like Bruce Lee just because he can run fast?
No, he can't. But if I can move and go from point A to point B faster than you can keep up with, how are you going to stop me from punching you as I'm running at you? Granted, movement speed, travel speed isn't combat speed, but as I said before, Superman has combat speed. He's going to bring something up about Superman never having combat speed, but a 5-second Google search just obliterates that. All you gotta do is Superman using super speed to punch Doomsday, and you'll get that he punched Doomsday thousands of times, over 4,000 times in a few seconds. So for this dude to say that he's a comic enthusiast and he's using stuff from the comics, but he deliberately left that out, and it's also evident he's never been in a fist fight, nor has he ever lifted weights. I can hear it in his voice. Yeah, I said it. I can hear it in his voice. There's certain ways where your body changes when you start to actually do certain things. One is the confidence in your voice. If you don't know, you just don't know. If you know, you know. But the confidence in your voice when you start to actually like lift and you start to get big, yeah, this dude, I don't hear any kind of confidence in him. He's a kind of meek individual that doesn't know what he's talking about. Which that's pissing me off. But I'll get into another point of that next.
Get out of here. That has nothing to do with combat speed. And if you're saying Goku v Superman with combat speed, Goku 100% of the time wins that stat, hands down. Every single fight Goku's ever had is a feat for his combat speed. Uh, and like take when he was Super Saiyan God fighting Beerus in that cave, I think the Dragon Ball movie, Dragon Ball Super movie, and they both launch at each other, and like the water ripples, and that drop of water goes in the air, and they're fighting for like 5-10 minutes, and then like after they're done fighting, you see the water drop actually finally drop into the water. So like the entire fight took place in like a split second, because how fast they're fighting. And with Superman, you just don't see stuff like that. Like with the Flash, you do sometimes when he's fighting Zoom or something.
Again, as I said, you do see that with Superman. Do you see it often? No, but you see it. You see it in its again. Superman using super speed to punch Doomsday. It's literally he punches Doomsday over 4,000 times in a couple seconds. If I remember while I'm editing this, I'll put that panel in there. So yeah, Superman does have combat speed. Again, this is a point to say that he just doesn't know. If you would have just Googled it, he'd have known. So again, combat speed, we debunked that. And no, he does not get beat by Goku 100% of the time because, again, I'm pointing that out.
But you don't see that with Superman. Because, yes, I get it. If you're flying that fast or running that fast, your perception has to be that fast or else you just run into stuff. But can Superman's body move as fast as his mind can perceive things?
Yes.
Can he fight as fast as he can perceive himself moving? And I don't know, because I don't think there's a solid feat out there, or I guess a consistent solid feat like we have with Goku, where again, he does that all the time. Not to mention the fact that Goku is a master martial artist, and Superman is not. This also is...
That is another point that pisses me the fuck off. He's going to point out, all Superman does is punch. So, boxing is a martial art. Just because Goku actually throws kicks doesn't mean anything. And to point to that, Google Quentin Rampage Jackson. He was the former UFC 205 light heavyweight champion. All he did was punch. And that's against martial artists. And he was the champion. On top of that, with as many fights as Superman's been in, you gain experience, you gain combat experience to know what to do, how to hit somebody, where to hit them, and when to hit them. You don't just keep winning fights like that just off of nothing, off of getting lucky. You gotta learn. So his experience would be equal to Goku's. But this would come to a point of understanding of if the kid was actually in a fist fight, he'd know this. Or if he had any actual experience. Because it's funny he brought up the UFC earlier when his whole argument could be debunked by something in the UFC. Continuing.
Is never brought up the fact that Goku is a master martial artist and Superman just punches. You know what I mean? He just throws heavy punches. It's like his entire fighting style. Because in his world, that's all you need to do. You don't need to be like this kung fu master to compete. And Goku does have that. So even if you think that Goku's like, even in his most powerful form, I'm not even going to talk Ultra Instinct, but say like Super Saiyan Blue, you think Goku's only half as powerful as Superman, even at Super Saiyan Blue. It's like, okay, even if you thought that, like his power output was that low, you still think he'd lose with that extreme martial art and speed advantage? The advantage Goku has over Superman in those departments, that's like a saber-toothed tiger fighting a baby. That's how extreme it is as far as
But I've already proven and pointed out how there is no advantage in Goku's favor. But I want to point out, I want to circle back again to the point where he said, I'm a comic enthusiast first. Are you? Because I hear a lot of anime dick riding. On top of that, as I said, you want to bring up, like when he brought up strength doesn't equal punching power, but he used two of the biggest and heaviest punchers in the UFC. All Superman does is punch. But again, pointing back to the UFC of how all the guy did was punch, and he was the champion. If the guy actually followed UFC and actually knew just real world stuff, he'd know this stuff.
speed and combat goes. To be a little less dramatic, it'd be like prime Mike Tyson fighting me. And maybe
Now there is the point what I'm talking about. What did I tell you about not him not lifting, him not knowing uh, any actual martial arts, him not studying anything? You can see he's, I don't want to say he's a shut-in, but the kid, he probably doesn't lift weight. No, there's no problem. He doesn't lift weights. He doesn't train any martial art, or he would actually know what the fuck he was talking about. But he brings up Prime Mike Tyson. That's funny because everybody knew Prime Mike Tyson. Well, I would like to say everybody knew Prime Mike Tyson. And Prime Mike Tyson was back in my day. But the kid lacks knowledge on the things he's speaking about. And again, I want to circle back to the fact that he said Superman doesn't have any combat speed feats. And I debunked that by saying, if you Google this, it shows it. And there's a difference between Prime Mike Tyson and you. You have no combat experience. You've never been in a fist. I can look at the kid and tell him he's never been in a fist fight. You've never been in a fist fight. You don't lift weights. You have no combat experience whatsoever. You have no combat training. Now, I'm not saying I do well against Prime Mike Tyson, but I'd fare a lot better than him.
and even in this scenario, what if I was twice as strong as Mike Tyson? I can lift twice as much weight, and I can blow him away in a foot race so much faster in a foot race than Mike Tyson. Does anybody believe that I would still win a fight against the guy?
Well, that's the question. Is your body honed for combat? You're twice as strong, yeah. Everyone has a puncher's chance. Well, I can't say everybody, but there's always that puncher's chance given similar stats. But you're twice as strong as Mike Tyson, and you can move around fast. Can you move your head? Can you do you have that kind of experience? Superman would have that kind of experience over Goku, or rather, it would be somewhat similar. So we've already established that Superman is far stronger physically than Goku. We've established that he has combat speed, just like Goku. And he has incredible travel speed, which beats Goku's, which means Goku, outside of instant transmission to teleport to a different location in like a different realm, there is no outrunning him. He beat the shit out of Goku.
Obviously not. Because lifting strength, and like running speed have almost nothing to do with martial art ability or the ability to win a fight. But that is never brought up in the debate. It's always just.
And again, what comes out this kid's mouth, you've never been in a fight, or that stupidity would have never come out your fucking mouth. That makes I am dumber for having listened to this more than once. No, I'm not joking. And I don't care if one of you guys goes and says, hey, Kingsway said this. I hope you fucking see this guy. You don't know what you're talking about. And it hurts my head.
Let's crunch the numbers. And let's see, he lifted this much weight, and he did this. And, well, one time, Superman crushed a black hole in his hands. Well, one time, when Goku was fighting Jiren, the entire universe was going to be destroyed because of how powerful they were. It's like, yeah.
Superman did that clapping Wonder Woman's cheeks. Look it up. I've said it before in another video, and somebody was like, oh, well, you're not giving specific. No, I'm actually giving very specific instances. All you got to do is actually do a little bit of legwork. On that particular, I would like to say that people like to be spoon-fed things. Don't get me wrong. When you have the panels up there to support what you're saying, it does add a point of credibility. But if like I said, if I remember to edit it into this video, I'll have everything. But I'm literally telling you where to go. When Superman was clapping Wonder Woman's cheeks, it was similar to that. When Superman was fighting Doomsday, he hit him over 4,035 times before Doomsday stopped him, if I remember correctly. Because he flat out says, this is a little trick I learned from Flash.
Yeah, that stuff's fine if you want to just pull out feats to do like feat v feat. But if we're talking about an actual fight, these aspects of combat speed being infinitely faster, combat ability being infinitely better on Goku's side, even if you still think that he's less powerful, obviously gives him the edge.
No, it doesn't.
And if you bring in Ultra Instinct, Superman would literally not land a finger on the guy. At all. He'd
Yes,
be
he would.
done. So, I'm sure this will be non-controversial and everyone will agree with me. Let me know what you think. Let me know how right I am in the comments. But, yeah, ridiculous. Goku obviously wins against Superman.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, I'm sure that will be non-controversial. Let me know what you think.
There's the end of that video. I ain't got much to say about that. I was giving my points to it the whole time. We're going to end the video there. If you're new to the channel and you were entertained by my rant, hit the like and subscribe button, hit the notification button, and the bell. I try to upload as often as I can, but if you're new to the channel, I am a father, and I've been spending more and more time with my kids offline. My kids do come on the show, but I've been just foregoing making content just to spend more time with my kids. Down in the description below will be links to my merch shop, links to books I published that are on Amazon, and link to my Patreon. If you want to think about subscribing, that'd be great. Help the channel out, and we would love it over here. Also, I'll shout you out, and I'll have a list of anyone that helps support the channel, and the credits of every video that we do from here on out. In the meantime, between time, I'm always with these peace signs. It's your main man, King Sway. I'm gonna catch you in the next one.